Hey YouTube. Most of y'all know that I am rebuilding a YouTube channel. The Sarge Vining video channel was hacked into and deleted by YouTube, and I am trying to rebuild it here as Bannerman's Camp. And for those of you who don't know, it's a channel that is devoted to the 1920s and 1930s camping and the history of camping gear. As a side issue of that, I have a playlist called Tales of the Big Steel Tent. Now, this is a 2002 4Runner that I am building into an SUV camper conversion. And I am rebuilding that playlist now simply because I am in the process of finishing out the camper and getting it into condition so that I can go to Sean Dyer's squirrel hunting camp up in Ohio at the end of October. And I'm about finished with that, so I thought I would tell that story of how we got to where we are, or where we will be on the day that I depart for squirrel camp. Now, as part of that, I completely deleted, I have a couple of videos from the first iteration of the Big Steel Tent, but it changed. So I'm not including any of those older videos. This video starts the series at about November of 2024, when I returned from a round trip from Texas to New Hampshire, stopping at last year's squirrel camp along the way, and the ensuing rebuild that came after diagnosing some of the things that went on during that trip, how to improve the camper. That's what we're doing right now. So there's going to be 14, 15 videos here. I'm going to release a couple a day until I get to the point where I can say I have finished the Big Steel Tent enough so that I can feel confident that I can make my trip back and forth to squirrel camp. Now, to be honest, Big Steel Tent's never going to be finished. Okay, there's always going to be tweaks and improvements, but it will be substantially there. Okay, let's listen to the old man talk about an old truck. Hey there, YouTube. We're going to take a kind of a step away from the living history, although not entirely, and the history of camping gear here for a little series here on the Big Steel Tent. Now, some of you have been around long enough to know that I've been working on this, what I call the Big Steel Tent. You'd call it an adventure vehicle or even an SUV camper. Okay, I call it the Big Steel Tent, and I use it as my mobile video production facility. I use it primarily to shoot video in the woods on weekend camping trips. The Big Steel Tent is built on the principle of a good tent design, in that a good tent protects you from the weather, it is well ventilated, and you can sit up in it for long periods of time. Now, I've done a couple of videos, and along the way of building this thing, I have paused. I said, okay, let me do this. Let me see how it works. Now let me do this and see how it works, etc. and so forth. I decided that before I would complete it, I would take a long distance trip. And that's the trip I just finished, going to New Hampshire and back. And I can tell you that my initial design for the Big Steel Tent was adequate, maybe even excellent for the purpose of weekend camping trips. However, there was some severe deficiencies that I noted on a long distance trip. And I want to be able to do that. I want to be able to drive 3 or 4 days to a destination and hang out there for a couple of days and do some videos. Historic locations for camping, that kind of thing. Or going to historic camping events, classic camping events, where I can show the flag and congratulate some of the folks out there on this burgeoning hobby, folks who are having their own events. So, to that end, I started looking for some other alternatives to the way I had this thing set up. Let me just show you a video, a little walk around right now of the current status of the big steel tent and what I think needs improvement. Okay, so this is the back of the big steel tent. Shows you most of what's going on in here. I'm going to do a walk around. I'm going to show you what I've done, what I've been using for about 1.5 years now. And I'm going to tell you what worked and what didn't and why. And how I think I need to change it. So the first thing we've got is the bed. Okay. And I always keep my reproduction mattress that I made on here so that whether I'm camping in the truck or under a tarp or in a tent, it's always with me. And then I've got my lighter weight ground pad here for summertime. And I also have about a 1950s, 1960s sleeping bag for additional warmth here in the winter time. Now, this is all on a cot. Okay, let me see if I can turn this down just a little bit so you can, there you go, bad video. But it's a cot, it's a folding cot. I got it because it has this zipper here. Can you see that? It unzips the entire length. And theoretically, that means I can get down underneath it and get stuff that's in there. Okay. Let me change the orientation of the camera just a little bit more, and I will show you. There you go. This is my drawer. Right now, I've got it for forks and spoons and things like that, and it does provide me with a surface to put my cooking implements on. Okay, now let me step over here. What I generally cook on when I'm out in the field using the tent, when I'm not using a campfire or a camping stove. And by the way, I'll just show you this. This is one of the things I need to improve, is a place to put the trash. Okay. And what I have here, number one, is this little spiffy deal here. This is a Dash cooker. It's electric, and got a nice big surface. I can actually cook pancakes on this. I can cook eggs. I make eggs out of using dried eggs, powdered eggs. I can cook eggs. I can fry bacon. I can do all sorts of things with this little thing, and it doesn't draw a whole lot of power. The other thing I've got is the Joule. This is basically an electric jet boil. Okay, I can plug it in and it will boil water in about 2 or 3 minutes. And say the also you can make it, use popcorn with it. I don't know, I've never tried it. And then back in here, I have my other cooker, and this is Also, just another heating surface. Okay, this one is made specifically to cook eggs in. Okay, my favorite meal from the big steel tent is an egg McMuffin, where I can cook I put a piece of Canadian bacon down, and then I pour in some powdered eggs, reconstituted powdered eggs, and I'll cook that. And then in this one, I will take an English muffin and toast it, and then throw in some cheese. But you can see what the problem is here. The only place I've got to store this stuff is this little cubby right here. I need a better place to put those things. And I also need a better place to put all the forks, knives, and spoons and stuff that I've got collected in here, so that I can use this drawer or something like it as a table to use all my cooking stuff. Okay, so that's what's going on. Well, the other thing that's going on back here. Okay, this is my EcoFlow Delta, Delta 2. It's a fantastic power station. Right here, you can see it. I've got 6 outlets here. I've got inputs for solar panels. I've got 2 120-watt solar panels that can plug into this thing and keep it up during the day. I've also got an electric input that I can hook it up to a 120 house current and fill it up. And then I've got outputs for a 12-volt cigarette lighter and a couple of mini 3-amp outputs there as well. The problem I'm having with this right now is to turn it on, I've got to go to the other side. Okay, so I need the plugs on this side so that I can reach all my cooking stuff. But to turn it on, I've got to go in here and go around and all the crap that I've got loaded up in here to push a couple of buttons to get this thing working. Okay, that's what needs to be improved back here. So what needs to be improved back here is the bed arrangement. Let's turn this over this way just a little bit and see if I can show you. The problem with this cot right here is, while it gives me storage sitting here on these rails, in order to get this bed, let me see if I can put it this way. The reason why this shelf arrangement is here is because I cannot put this cot on top of the wheel well. Because if I put it on top of the wheel well, well, then it gets too high and I don't have enough headroom. So what I've got to do is I've got to come up with a bed that pretty much just snugs the top of the wheel well. Okay, doesn't get much higher than the top of the wheel well. It will go around to the side, and I'll show you the other problem with how I put my bed together. Okay, now here's the deal with the bed. Okay, here we've got my 4 or 5 inches that the cot sits on. But because it overhangs into the well for the back seat, I had to build this frame. Well, that frame takes up a good deal of space, as do the legs that are coming down. It greatly restricts the storage space up underneath the bed. Okay, and again, that just barely gets the top of this bed at about the same height as the top of the wheel well. Okay, the other thing is behind the driver's seat. Now, I would much rather be able to, if I come to a campsite and it's raining, to just open up the front door, the driver's side door, get out, open up the driver's side passenger door, and jump into bed. I can't do that with this arrangement. It's too close. I'm too old to negotiate to get up into here on this. I've got to go around to the other side of the truck to get in. What I really want to do is move this bed over the other side to the passenger side. Let me show you what I'm thinking about there. Okay, so here's what we're thinking about. I think I can get what I want as far as getting out this door and getting in this door and getting into the bed the same way I do now, except from the other side, is if I can bring the bed all the way forward and occupy this space where the passenger seat used to be and get it only just a little bit higher than the console here. It will be just about as tall as this bed here. That shouldn't change things all that much. And what I noticed when I took my trip to New Hampshire is I had a bunch of gear stowed here in this cargo area. And one of them was my my stove and my chuck box. They were stood up on end. They were roughly the same height, and they actually made a pretty good table for me to put things on. If I put my bed here in this space here, well, then I do have a place that I can put things while I'm driving. And this right here, that's where Little Bit sleeps. And she comes up and she'll lay down right here with her little jowls sitting right here looking up at me saying, when, are we there yet? Yeah. Sorry, we're outside. I can't control the traffic. But then she can come up here and look out the window like she likes to do. She likes to sleep in the bed as well. So what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to put that bed right about here. Okay? Now, what that should do, if this system that I'm looking at, when it comes, I'm going to set it up, it should give me a good deal of storage, a whole lot more storage area underneath that bed than I've already got, because I will have this cavity, this whole cavity on the passenger side, from the dash all the way back to where the back of the back seat was. Okay, that will just be clear for me to stack stuff in, and I'll be able to go down the road and put my arm up here and pet my dog, and I might even put a little drink holder or something right there. Okay, well, let's talk about a few more things. Okay, now to achieve that goal of putting this bed over here, I will first have to move this. This is a 130 watt inverter that I've got plugged into my 12-volt receptacle in the front dash. I use it primarily to keep power going to the phone, and it gives me two USB-C ports here, USB-A ports here, and 220 volt ports here for some very low powered stuff while driving, okay, or while the engine is on. So I'll need to relocate that so that I can put the bed up over the top of this console. I will be able to get rid of this cabinet here. It's kind of cattywampus, and I have never been able to get it to do what I want it to do. The little curtain here, that worked out well to keep stuff inside, but the problem was, I don't know if you can see it, but these little hooks here that hold the rods in, they aren't very strong. And one night I rolled over and pulled on it, the whole thing came down, and I had Had a bunch of stuff in my lap that night. Had to wake up in the morning. The other thing is the bed. Nothing I've been able to do has been able to get it to set in here 100% flat, stable, not be able to rock. Sometimes when I get off the bed, well, it'll tip. It's just, it hasn't been optimum, and I want to improve that. Let's go to the back and see what moving the bed forward does for us. Okay, now by moving the bed all the way to the front, that should give me enough room to stow this at the foot of the bed and still have a few inches to get down here and either be able to push the buttons to get it started or to flip it around and run all of my plugs from the back out here to the front. I've run this with a power strip before. At one point I had it way up in the front, and I had a surge protector. Had a surge protector back here that everything was plugged into, and that might be a route to go. Put this under the bed, run the cable here, and be able to push the buttons from this side. But that will free up a whole lot of space back here. And if I can, what I would like to be able to do is put some kind of storage over the top of it that is at the same elevation as the bed. So let's go talk about it in the cabin. Okay, there you go. Now, that's where we are now. And to tell you the truth, what I am going to do is I am going to be humble. And I'm going to tear every freaking thing out of the back of that truck. I'm not going to keep anything. Because I came across a new product that I think will get me pretty much really close to what I need for a vehicle that both excels as a weekend adventure vehicle and one that does a great job of long distance travel. Okay, and by that I mean drive all day, go to sleep, wake up, drive all day, go to sleep, etc. and so forth. The thing I noted, the original design of the big steel tent was so that I could take everything out and put cargo in if I needed to. And that would be for events that are not very far away from where I am now and where I wouldn't need to sleep in the tent. Traveling to squirrel camp, I came to the determination I was carrying too damn much crap. And so the next time I do a long distance classic camping event, I'm going to pare down my stuff enough so that I can, the packing thereof doesn't crowd me out of my own damn truck, which is what it was doing. I ended up spending nights in a hotel because getting things, the whole damn thing was kind of screwy. So this product, I just got the shipping notice today. It should get here in about a week. We'll do a video on that. Okay. We'll do a video on building that basic design. We're also going to do a video. The next video we do on here is going to address another problem situation that came up during my trip to New Hampshire, and that's internet access. My hope on that trip was that I would be able to shoot videos on the trip, making short stops, shooting the video, and then uploading it when I stopped for the night. Okay, that didn't work out. Okay, I wasn't getting good internet access to in any of the places where I wanted to camp. I came across a lot of, on the route, I came across a lot of good wild camping, primitive camping sites that I could have used, but there was no internet access. The motels I used, there was internet access, but it wasn't adequate, and I don't like uploading stuff, private stuff, videos on a public network. Okay. But we live in interesting times, and there's a new product that's come out, a lot of hype associated with it, and that's the Starlink Mini. Next video is going to be that, and how I think I'm going to be able to adapt it to my needs for long distance travel as well as video production in the field. Okay? In the middle of all that, we're going to do a video. We're going to make a classic camping reproduction sleeping bag. So we got a lot on the table coming up. Happy New Year. Hope you had a great Christmas. We'll see you down the trail.